Hi, Hannah. The article you sent also did not have full text. When you're doing your research, you can't do your research from an abstract. And if you're doing annotation, eventually you can't do a summary of a summary. You actually need the full text. You need to see what they did, who they did it with, who they included, who they didn't include. Did they get paid? What happened with this piece? This is the things you're trying to find. So I went and did COVID-19 airline because you're concerned about airlines, air flight, and that type of travel. And I put in qualitative. And if you start typing qualitative, it gives you other things to put in. So I went ahead and accepted that. The database itself will fill in a lot of information for you sometimes. I also selected for only full text. I selected scholarly journals. Now, it will not find me a scholarly article, it will find me a scholarly journal. So I still have to have the full text to make sure it's qualitative, to make sure it's scholarly or peer reviewed, and thirdly, of course, to make sure I have information to do an annotation from. So I did a couple of things, but this one brought up the one thing, and we just need one thing, so this works. I'm going to go over it with you because I want you to see what's really important and what you're missing. Because if you're writing a summary of a summary, that's not going to work out. This gives you a lot of information. It tells you what it did, but at this point, anytime you see something like Likert scale, that's actually quantitative. That's one of those 1 to 5 scales where you decide whether or not you like something or not, but you don't actually get to put in your own opinion. But this is a mixed methods piece. And the reason I know that is because I was able to go look at the survey. I was able to go through the methods. Right here, it tells me that they use a Likert scale. So I'm like, oh, this is not going to work for me. But then I see they have an open-ended question. Genius! So, quantitative, qualitative. It's a mixed method. Totally fits. I see the pieces. I see that it has multiple authors. I see that it has conclusions and references, and it shows its work. So when you're doing the summary, what you're actually looking for is this. You don't want to use the abstract. Sometimes it has very little to do with the article. You want to be able to say what happened. This has a nice summary box, and you can summarize from this summary. In this case, it does make sense. But put it in your own words, paraphrase as you need to, and talk about the methods. And if you're up here, what you really are looking for is their question. Sometimes the introduction, the subjective. This is what they're trying to do. And you, as the reader, have an opportunity to figure out, did they use enough people? Was this study something that might be accurate? Do you think it was effective? Had enough people? Should it included other things? Do you think people were motivated by getting free things on the airplane and filling it out differently than they normally would? Whatever. You can put your critical thinking right on this as well. And that is part of the annotation. So I'm going to attach this to an email to you. I'm going to send this to you, though. I think I've done a video for you before and you didn't look at it. I'm not really sure. I think I saw 0. I'm going to try it one more time, Hannah. And I want you to understand, when you're going in to do research, you're not going to get the right answer. Probably the first 5 or 6 searches. It's not one and done. It's something you do over again and you go back. And I'm hopeful this will be actually helpful for you in your piece. But do not summarize from the abstract. Do not use something that is not full text in your research. Make sure it's full text, that people can get to it. In this case, me. Sometimes your professor, or you have a copy of it in full text, so you can demonstrate that, yes, I did read it all, and yes, I did look at all the parts. I see that it does have the parts of a scholarly article. I see it does meet the criteria for being a qualitative research piece as well. So, use this, fold this into your experience, and remember, please, don't use things that are not full text. So, enjoy this. It's kind of brief and useful. Thank you, Hannah.